Yay, it's a special Sunday, and I am so thankful coming your way. Sunday here in the United Kingdom, we're celebrating motherhood. It's Mothering Sunday to all the mothers in the UK. So, from myself, the Nana Cheche Show team, we want to say happy Mother's Day to all the fabulous and amazing mothers out there. Today, I am so thankful that I have two special ladies, extraordinary mothers. This morning, I paid a surprise call to these two wonderful ladies and gifted them with our Mother's Day present, courtesy of Cosmic Cocktails and the Nana Cheche Show team. And I hope you ladies enjoy your cocktails.
I'm not even taking it.
You haven't? Okay, I will come and join you. And
Go
Tracy,
ahead,
have
go
you
ahead.
tried yours?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Oh, okay.
Is
So
it is
I'll
it
be coming for a drink.
yeah. Is it
So
possible
please,
to okay, continue.
yes. So Tracy, please tell the world who you are.
My name's Tracie Warr, and I'm mum to two children. Maya is 18. She's severely disabled, has severe autism and epilepsy, and learning difficulties. And my 15-year-old daughter, she's also got autism, just been diagnosed.
I didn't hear the last bit.
Oh, okay. Ellie's got autism as well, my youngest. So she's just been diagnosed. So yeah, I've got my hands full.
You're
I live
putting
at
hands
home with
full.
my husband, and we live in Hertfordshire.
Oh, fantastic. Lady Grace, please tell
Yeah.
us.
Yes, my name is Mrs. Grace Alexander. One of my children has is living with disability, and I'm also a qualified social worker. Though I don't practice, but then I run an organization called Start Children Development Initiative, both here and in Nigeria, and I'm also a compassionate disability advocate.
A compassionate disability advocate. Wow, welcome, ladies, and again, happy Mother's Day to you. I
Thank
celebrate you. This evening as well, I've dedicated our show to an orphanage that a Nana Cheche Foundation supports in Ghana called Royal Seed Orphanage. And it's they've got 250 kids. And so I would say I have 250 kids somewhere in Ghana,
Oh,
and I'm partnering with the lady who is running this organization or this orphanage so that we can support the kids in Ghana, the kids there, and it's been amazing. So today and throughout the month of March, I
mm,
would be sharing and posting their crowd a funding page or GoFundMe page so that we can support the children out there, or you can ask me more questions as we go along by typing in your questions. But today, ladies, it's about you, the two of you. We're celebrating you. Tell me, Tracy, how you've been able to cope all these years, especially Maya, because I got to know Tracy through a local newspaper when you were trying to raise money for, was it a machine or go on have an operation, and I had just started my show, but I was so intrigued and contacted you and tried to raise money. You remember, in my local church, and since then, we've been in each other's life. So tell me the journey of you having Maya
When you
and
were
how you have
trying
come.
to raise money for, was it a
this was
machine or
going back some years ago now. It wasn't a machine. It was actually for soft play sensory room for Maya to have in the house,
Mm.
because she did get so ill with her seizures. She was like seizuring up to 60 times per day, so she was unable to go to school, and we only live in like in a standard 3-bedroom house. So in order to give her a little bit of quality of life, we put the sensory. We turned one of the bedrooms into a playroom for Maya, so she could have some like
since then, we've
free
been
time
in each
there.
other's life. So tell me,
2 weeks of the year. So yeah, we raised money for that, and via my workplace as well, we've got money there, and yeah, it's been lovely. But since then, we had it for a couple of years, But Maya got so used to it in the end, and then Ellie's got older as well now, so we needed the space back. But it's, we just juggle things. It's something you just have to do as a mum, as a family. We would never put Maya into care or just not us. We love Maya to bits, and she relies on us for everything. We just go with the flow, take each day as it comes, and she needs help with all her needs, feeding. She's a double incontinent. Non-verbal. We do literally everything from her, from showering her, everything, dressing her, brushing her hair, brushing her teeth, spoon feeding her, literally everything. But she's a joy. She's a wonderful child. I say child. She's going to be 19 this year, but she'll always be my child, my little girl. So, she's lovely, phenomenal. She's an absolute inspiration. I love her to bits. And I know many women out there, in the same position as me. You just get on with it. Your mum, your family. You just do what you've got to do. Yeah. So
Wonderful.
I'm very, very proud.
Wonderful. I'm happy to hear that. And Lady Grace.
Yeah.
Tell me, I know you and I have had an interview before, I think a year or 2 years ago or so, but I always love to hear your story of bringing up Professor. Her son is a professor.
Yes, so.
Yes. We're listening.
Yeah. Professor is fine. It's still hard work. But what I normally tell people is that it's it's your mind, but it's still a lot of hard work. Actually, especially with the COVID. And COVID has also exposed a lot of things. So our reaction, initially the reaction was worse because we did not have a clue what the pandemic, how it's going to affect us, how it's going to. So we've passed that stage now. It's about
Grace, hold on. Before we come to even the pandemic, I want us to go back. Professor wasn't born
with
a child
wasn't born with disability. Yes, was not born with disability. And but he started having epileptic fit when he was 7.5. But when he was 8, then it became more pronounced. He was having like 20, almost from 21 to 28 a day, and that was a bit scary. And that affected his development. It affected his cognition. It affected his motor skills. And what happened to him spanned over
well, it looks like Lady Grace is having a network problems. When things are getting exciting, the network decides to play up. But Tracie, let's come back to you. Said Maya was having 60 fits in a day. In that time, what as a mother, how did you process? Because many of us, I mean, people might not understand what mothers who are raising up children with disability sometimes but I want you to take us through the journey of your daily activities and your daily process with Maya.
Well, I'll tell you from the beginning. Maya was born 5 weeks early. I had really bad preeclampsia and I had an emergency C-section, and she did suffer from fetal distress, which was lack of oxygen whilst inside of me. And she started off having very bad reflux when she was young, and she had like little eyes kept rolling. Oh, she's off again. Her eyes were rolling, but at about 3 weeks, she started having a fit, but they thought it was febrile seizures, like she had a high temperature. And as the weeks went on, we got referred to Great Ormond Street. Then they said she had epilepsy, and it just got really slow, really quick. So you know, at a very early age, Maya was having one seizure per every like 4 weeks, but they was massive seizure. So one seizure would last up to 3 hours. So in those 3 hours, we'd be home. She was lighted into A&E. From A&E, she was given all these rescue medications. And then from A&E, they'd get the CATS team into A&E to actually transport Maya to intensive care. And this was like every month we was doing this. You know, Maya's been in intensive care about 9 times. That was earlier on. As time went on, she was diagnosed with Dravet syndrome, which is a very severe, uncontrolled kind of epilepsy. You know, it's hard. I've been driving before. Maya's been in the baby seat next to me with the seizure, so I've had to pull over and then deal with Maya and then carry on. Or like we've been at a soft play thing because Maya used to love soft play when she was little, and then she'd be in there again. She'd have a seizure, and I'd have to give her rescue medication, which at the time, which was very, wasn't very nice. It was rectal, so I had to like undress her and then administer. That was it was horrible. A little dignity was completely gone. But since then, one of her emergency medications is actually oral now, which is a lot better. But yeah, with Maya, it's very unpredictable. We can't plan anything. I mean, we go on holiday. Maya loves swimming. We take her in the swimming pool. She has a massive seizure, and because she's so big now and heavy, we just can't do nothing. So we have to, prevention's the better way to do things. Sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind. Maya loves outside. Maya loves play, but we know if we let her have that, she's going to go into a seizure.
Wow.
We can't plan it. We can't plan our lives. Every day is a new day with us. We're learning everything new with Maya. Some days it looks like she's going really ahead. Then she'll have seizures. Then she gets knocked back down again, and she regresses. Sometimes she regresses, and sometimes she progresses. So sometimes she'll do something like she's done a couple of years ago, and then it'll suddenly come back, and then she'll go forward again. We're just learning every single day with Maya.
Wow. Okay, so then let's talk to Grace as well. Grace, you were saying you were talking to us when your network just went.
Yeah.
So please.
So he was started having many seizures, and before we got it right, it took a very long time. I had to change hospital from Whitechapel to King's College Hospital, where I saw one doctor who was able to answer all my queries concerning my son's diagnosis. And it was difficult initially because you are like, you have to process that loss, because it's like you've lost a child. And coming from Africa, being a Nigerian, you know how we internalize disability. Obviously, that I internalized it, thinking about the stigma, thinking about the myths, asking God, why me? And most importantly, was in a state of shock, not knowing what to do. You have plans, and I haven't had children before. This was actually new to me, parenting. How do you parent? How do you plan for the future of that child? How do you plan for your own future as a mother? Because you have some aspirations, which you couldn't do at that time, obviously because of your confused emotions. How do you regulate those emotions? You understand, so that you can be able to care. Not talking about the family dynamics. Obviously, it's going to affect the family dynamics. Is going to affect your income. It's going to be, you feel tired. Your physical well-being, your emotional well-being is in tatters. So it's just a lot to cope with. A lot during that process, during that phase is a lot. And because it has to be a process of different stages of that, then you go into denial, where you start thinking that obviously he was not born like this. You stop the medication. I stopped the medication, and she started having it more. And the hospital, I told them that I stopped it. That I was even telling the doctor and the nurses that he wasn't born with epilepsy. And they said, no, you know what? If you do that again, they're going to report me to a social worker, and they're going to call the police, and they will take the child away. And that was for me scary. You understand? That was very scary for me. And I was in there. Then during the process of denial, you started bargaining. What went wrong? Is it, what went wrong? And before you started accepting, all those times you are still trying to actually regulate your emotions, trying to find sense in what is actually happening to you. One, you are your husband, as a Nigerian too, was like querying, where did you get the child? African, where did you, because in our family we did not have anybody with disability. And I told
Yeah.
him that we, in my family, so obviously the house that was bubbling was like quiet, was like everybody was just trying, because everything was, we were all in a state of shock. And then before you start thinking that, then obviously you start choosing a lot of things. You start making some choices, which might not be in your best interest, or in the best interest of the family, or the best interest of your child. So it was too much. It was too much. And you start applying, one thing I would say, applying different coping mechanisms. Like I love clothes, as I said, buy oversized clothes that are bigger than me.
Wow.
Because I thought I was losing it. I was actually losing it. I was losing it, but not in a way that I knew something was wrong with my emotion. But I was trying to guide my own sanity as well. The fact that you had to deal with a husband that is thinking, okay, you know what, let's do a DNA. So lack of trust.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes, lack of
Wow.
trust. Lack of trust. And one thing is that I could understand. Later, I tried to check, and I realized that we were coming from the same background, where we've internalized disability. Obviously, that query, that what went wrong, probably that was not my child. And for me, as a woman of integrity, for a woman that is, I am somebody that's of integrity, that I'm not somebody that you can mess up with. And I started thinking that lack of trust really got to me at that time. Really got to me. Because when your husband is telling you that let's do a kind of DNA, for me that was obviously an insult. I found it really insulting, and I couldn't deal with that, and I was angry. And that's why, for you to move on, you need to forgive.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is key before you can accept. And some people can be angry with God that I prayed, I fasted, I did this, you need to forgive. And it took me 7 years to come to terms with actually being where I am today. And it took me 7 years to actually figure a lot out, because in those 7 years, so many things have gone wrong. So many coping strategies, so many things on how to deal with what is happening to you. So many, and you don't forget, you go through a kind of mental health issues, and a kind of that manifests into your behavior. I started having, when I hear ambulance, I will start having panic attack. That took 2 years for it to go. So, and then I was like, the fear of the unknown. I was afraid. I was worried. I was thinking, was I going to do this forever? A lot of questions I started asking myself, and that can be detrimental to your health as a carer. You understand? If you are not careful, you will neglect yourself, and you neglect your other children, and you will neglect your home. And as a woman, that's all the things, as a carer, that's what all the things I have to deal with. And that was too much. So, but what a kind of escape for me is to cry. And I felt a kind of release. Another escape for me because of my faith. But even though I was still querying God, asking God for 7 years, why me? I wasn't getting any response. And that could be very frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah, I it's like I can just leave the two of you to just take over and share with us. But I see that Pastor, is it Reverend Charlene, is also saying yes, you can plan, and you take each day as it comes. And you thank you to everyone who's joined and who is contributing as well. yes, for a mother, the way you were saying, I'm even feeling it, sitting and listening, how much more you. But one thing that I applaud you to is that when I see you on social media, when I see you doing your thing, which we come to, you do it so passionately. And I can see Professor at the back going
Yes.
up and down. So shout out to Professor
Professor.
Tracie. I know you have a wonderful family. I know your husband Henry is very supportive
Yeah.
of the family. Tell me how the relationship has been, because as Lady Grace is saying, it affected her marriage. What about you?
It does have a massive effect, yes, as a family and also your relationship as well. But we've learned to, go around things. We've learned to cope. I used to suffer from really bad anxiety, so I had to get prescribed medication because I used to have lots of really bad panic attacks, and that was to do with Maya. Also, getting old, you go into the menopause, no sleep. I was mentally and physically drained, and I just needed something to take the edge off. So I was prescribed medication, and that's kind of like calmed me down. But Henry and I are very, we're both on the same page with regards to bringing up our daughters. We want the best for our girls, and that's why I'm starting the clothing business now, because I want, when Ellie's 18, 16 this year. When she turns 18, that's hers, because of COVID and because of her new diagnosis and because she hasn't been to school because of her medical problems. It's the unforeseen. Maya's non-verbal. Ellie's been growing up like a single child, and we missed Ellie's diagnosis because we were so involved with Maya. Intensive care, hospital visits. I knew Ellie had problems at school, but I never knew Ellie had autism herself. And for me, that's made me feel so sad and so guilty that I've had a child. She's 16 this year, and her diagnosis was completely missed. I know she struggled at school. I know she struggled mixing with other children, but I never thought that Ellie had autism as well. It was only when I kept taking Ellie to the doctors, and they sent me a letter saying that Ellie had autistic traits. And I said, no, no, no. I said, you're mixing my youngest up with my eldest, because Maya, as well as having the severe epilepsy, she has severe autism as well. And they said, no, Ellie. And it really, my day changed. My perception on things. I felt so guilty. I felt really sad. I was crying, everything. My heart sank, everything. And this is why and even when Eddie got a diagnosis in just November last year, it's like someone crushed me, and I've had to think of something to do to give that my daughter, my youngest, a future, because I know I have a future, and so I just want to give Ellie a little start in life, so she could go further. Because Maya will always need Henry and I to look after her, because she needs 24/7 round the clock care with everything. But with Ellie, although she's got autism, she can do, she's very independent and she can do a lot of things. She's very bright, very academic, and she's going to go really far. She's brilliant actress, everything. And
Wow.
so it's just something to give her. It's our gift to Ellie to give her that step in life to go to go the same level as her peers.
Wow.
But Henry and I are absolutely fine together.
Wow. Yes.
Everybody has ups and downs.
I'm glad to hear that. So a big thank you and shout out to those supportive dads out there, and to Henry. We want to say thank you so much. So let's come back to Lady Grace, who so tell me what made you start your advocacy?
Well, thank you for that question. It's well, I started it that I mean, I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realized that there is a bigger picture in this. And I realiz And one of the things that when you go through challenges in any shape or size or form, what can give you healing is finding a purpose, is harnessing that pain or that challenges. Harness it so that other people going through it can benefit from your own experience. So for me, I started that as a form of to find a way out, to see the benefits to other people. And actually that's when I started having bliss. And we named that Start Children Development Initiative. And the star child is now a star man. He's 26 now. So
Blessing.
and that's how we started. And I will say that going through this is a kind of pilgrimage where you're going through a journey and you start discovering yourself. You discover yourself. There's some things that will change. But obviously, one of the things is the fact that I want to empower other parents about my journey. I want to empower other parents to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I want to empower other parents that you are not alone. I want to, and being coming from Africa, there is a culture of silence among women, especially when it has to do with things like this, where you don't speak out because of the shame, because of the environmental factors, the stigma, and you don't want people, you feel isolated as well. But so starting that organization is a way to rehabilitate myself back into the community, and is a way of actually helping others that, you can speak out. You need to speak out, because I was actually not telling anybody about my son, but I find it a kind of release now that I discuss. Since that time when I started the organization, I was like, it wasn't any big deal anymore to me, because it's a kind of self-discovery of who am I. Then even out of those challenges, trying to find meaning, because unless you find meaning, you still not be able to see that silver lining. So, and obviously I realize that when you are going through challenges, it's a process, because it's not something you can get out. Any challenges is actually personal to anybody who is going through it. So how you feel, how you react might be different from how the other person feels or how the person is reacting to it. So for me, pain or challenges, they are quite personal. And but one thing is that we can gain from each other. And with Start Children, I started going to peer support group, and I was not really happy with the way they do their peer support group, where all they are talking about are problems. Oh, did you sleep last night? Oh, I did not sleep throughout the night. Oh, in fact, I had to call the ambulance. Yeah. For me, that was quite disempowering. I'm looking for somebody that will tell me something positive. So something positive about the fact that, hello, how are you doing? I'm getting on with it. It's okay. Not telling me about the problems you had last night or the problems you are having now. I want to go out from that place, that support group, where we share ideas, how we can improve things, not about dwelling on problems or start reiterating those problems. You don't want to, by the time you get out of that door or that company, you are already empowered for the day. You are happy. You are ready to use some of their coping strategies. You want to test it and find out how it's going to work for you, not to start going away with being angry with yourself or being sad again. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start one, and it's about capacity building.
Wow.
Yes. And the whole essence, and we were funded for that period. We were funded by Hackney, we were funded by community lottery fund, and where we did capacity building. And part of it is that by the time they go, everybody will be calling me, oh, Grace, this is amazing. Oh my God, and we actually we did a small documentary, which lasted for like 3 minutes, where people are telling their experiences with how they've been able coming to this capacity building that's organized, how that has really helped them. You understand? And so my modus operandi was quite different from, oh, I did not sleep last night. Oh, I'm even having headache. Oh, I don't, that those kind of pain, grief can actually be transferred to the way you are feeling.
Yeah.
So part of it is that coming, looking well, looking bright. Oh, you look gorgeous. You look beautiful. That makes your day. The person doing the capacity training for us will crack some jokes. And it's about the fact that we are actually building our resilience. Because one thing I've realized is that change is not stagnant. So how you cope with one change will obviously change your perspective, whether positive or negative. But I choose that positive because on that positive perspective, where there is light, you can build a world of possibilities of how things can be with you. Because at the end of the day, you are the owners of your overall well-being depends on you.
Yeah.
So if you want to sink, you can. If you want to swim, you can, because there is what we call there is a kind of stimulus, which are your challenges, your pain, your grief, your loss, and your response. We still have, as an individual, we still have that control. But sometimes we are overwhelmed with those problems and we don't see that power we've got to make that choice. And it is that choice. It is that choice that will enable you to grow. It is that choice that will help you to look back and say, wow, I've come this far. It is that choice that will give you the opportunity to be grateful, the act of gratitude. You understand? Because one of the things is that you are not alone. You are not alone. And I think I've read somewhere that when you go through pain, when you go through challenges, it builds your character.
Yeah.
It gives you endurance. It builds your patience. Then for me as a Christian, unapologetically, I pray. I pray for direction, for me to see. Because life is not fair to anybody. Life is tough. And raising a child, and that's why if you have a child with disability, you don't concentrate on those problems. You don't concentrate on what the child cannot do. Concentrate on what the child can do. What are the child's strengths? Concentrate. Do a lot of things. Seek help. But if you're thinking about, oh, he can't do this, oh, in the next year, oh, his mates, when she's 18, or when he or she is 18, oh, his mates are in university, you are not comparing. You are not going to have your perspective will be terrible, will be a negative one, and you start having negative emotions.
Let me pause you there and go back to Tracie, that all that you were saying. And I hope that if you're mother and you're watching and you have a child with disability, one thing I love that you've just said is don't concentrate on what the child cannot do. It's powerful. We should always concentrate on the positive. When something is negative and you add negative, you are sinking, you are dying. But when something is negative and you bring light, that's why they say where there is darkness, when you bring light, you bring light, the room illuminates. So it's so important that we take these notes from.
Sorry, I just want to say this. When you are down, there's no way you can stand up. If you are concentrating on being on what is down, if you are looking down, it's just like a proverb. You can't stand up, you can't go up. So when you concentrate on what are the disadvantages, what are the weaknesses, what are the threats, face your challenges, because without facing your challenges, you cannot see possibilities.
Wow, that 7 years of you processing things have really, really paid off. So Tracie, let's come back to you. We've been in the pandemic since last year, and talk me through how you were able to cope. And because Maya's condition is so severe, you can't just, it's like you can't go anywhere. So talk
No.
me through your experiences over last year until now.
Yeah. It's actually been really nice for us, actually, because
Oh, good. You see, positiveness. Hey, I love it.
we've had some really lovely quality time with Maya, because where she was going to school, she was enjoying it. But since she's been home, so much, she seems so happy. And we're seeing, she's discovering new things and everything. We're taking her out more. We're getting her out of her wheelchair. We're putting our energy into the home. We're trying to build a little empire at the minute. We're concentrating on our cooking skills. Everything's a lot more calmer. So even though Maya might keep us up all night, it's fine, because in the daytime we can chill out a little bit. We can go for a nice long walk. It's like the lady said there. At the end of the day, you have to concentrate on the positives, because when you go down, it's very hard to come up.
Yeah, you did post. I think I saw a post where you said for the first time Maya walked.
Yeah.
How was the feeling like?
Oh, wonderful!
Ah,
It's because one of the
amazing.
one of the epileptic medications she's on has actually stopped her walking, so she hasn't really walked for about 4 years. And they always say you've got to weigh up the good with the bad. So it's either no sugars and no walking, or she walks and has the seizures. It's a cruel thing, but we try to give Maya a very good quality of life, and we don't shy Maya away from anywhere. If we go out for dinner, Maya will come out of us for dinner. If we go into a cafe, or a coffee shop, Maya comes everywhere with us. If I go in a supermarket, not now while the virus is around, but I used to take her in the supermarket. When we go on holiday, everything we do, Maya's part of the family. We do as a family. Occasionally I might take Ellie to the cinema, because I know Maya won't like that. And I'll give Ellie some quality time, or take Ellie out for lunch. But as a whole, we do things as a family. But COVID hasn't really changed our life, to be honest with you, because we used to drop Maya to school. She used to do 4 to 5 hours a day. Ellie used to go to school full time, but both girls have been home full time for the last year and a half. And it's actually been nice. We've got to do the house up. Like I said, we've actually started a little business up, hoping to give it to Ellie. And we're more calmer. The kids seem calmer. Everything's really going well for us at the minute. We're really, really positive. We try to remain
Fantastic.
positive. Yeah.
Fantastic. We will come to the business. So, Lady Grace, you see why I said you two are extraordinary women, because some I pray that from this conversation, if there is a mother, not even mothers with children with this who have children with disabilities, but all mothers, with their children, will see something great in their children, would bring that positive vibes, because it's so important that we become the beacons of life. I know that the times that we are in are so uncertain, and a lot of negative vibes, but if you bring positiveness, and Tracie does that to a family, and we are able to do that, I think there will be a lot of happiness around, and because all these things affect our mental health as well. So you're now advocating. I love the Start Child Initiative program. You travel the world, especially you go back to Nigeria and give back. How did you know decide to go back to Nigeria and say, okay, I'm here? And you remember I asked you, do you travel with professors as well? So tell me about that.
Yeah, actually, the vision to start in Nigeria come first, because in Nigeria, you can't compare it to London. Though even here is hard enough, because you fight for everything. But obviously, there are services here. This place is a bit structured, except during this COVID now, which all services are overstretched and they've gone like pear-shaped, kind of. But yes, but you cannot compare a developed country with developing countries. And one of the things is that I started actually in Nigeria because they needed those kind of services, and I was part of it is the stigma was terrible. Although there is a kind of political will now, a kind of, but we are still doing a lot. But people are talking more now about disability in Nigeria. But here, when you know your rights, there are laws. But recently in Nigeria, they've just signed the law 2 years ago, 2018, which is going to be 3 years this year. They've just signed it, but people are not even aware of those. What are those laws? What are the benefits in those laws for persons living with disability? Whereas here, there are laws since 1980, is as recent. And you have, when you know those laws and those policies, you have to fight, because here everything has to be with funding, but at least there are services. You understand? There are services, and you can say it's your right as a carer, it's your right for your child's right, but you cannot claim negligence here. But here, there is a lot of ignorance in Nigeria, there is a lot of negligence, which is created by the ignorance, especially people from poor socioeconomic background or people from the grassroots, in those villages. They still hide. There is no support. So because of the poverty, it can create more disability as well, lack of malnutrition and all that. But we've been able to do our own bits within our own capacity, and things are improving. And we still do a lot, despite the COVID. We still do a lot of awareness. We still do a lot on carers' well-being. We still advocate. My area is more on advocacy, engaging the government, which I've been doing. It's so hard, but at least we're getting somewhere where when we're doing events, I love to call the policymakers. There is no point doing an event and not call people that are going to help to change the law. So that's one of the skills I've learned, is networking skills and lobbying. You have to lobby. Even here, they have to lobby with the members of the House of Lords, with the parliament. You have the members of the parliament. You have to lobby about issues that concern socioeconomic issues that concern anybody, or especially in the area of disability. So, and I find it really fulfilling and exhilarating. I find it really humbling to be able to tell people, this is my story. And it's actually, they come back, and that's actually, and some of our parents, like I have Parents Forum, I have the Disabled Entrepreneurs Forum in Nigeria, I have Men's Forum, you understand, and we create a safe place for each forum, for each group, where they can say, where I call speakers on mental health, on trauma, because it can actually be traumatic. Disability is an evolving concept, because you can acquire it at any time. You don't need to be born with it. You can have an accident. Old age can even cause, like me now. I'm getting older. I'm not although people say I've got a lot of energy. Thank God for that. But I know in my body, I was
you can feel in the bones.
Yes, I was not like when I was in my 50s or 40s or whatever.
So if you're saying it's not like you're in your 50s or so, can I? Well,
I don't want to say my age on the screen. So they can just add it up. So I finished school SAT. I finished WAEC, the school SAT, or what did they call it here? Back home, I finished in 1975. So you can add it up.
Okay, guys, I've got it.
Yes. So yes. So it's and now when I wake up, usually, but before, I can wake up at 5 and because of your caring responsibility, I cannot afford to be sick.
Yes.
I cannot afford to be sick. So you have to have a me time. And that's why each time I tell parents, create a me time. Even though this place we feel isolated, especially with the pandemic, but you can have a structure. You can have a structure, have a routine that accommodates your own needs as a carer, which is highly as important as your child you are caring for.
Yeah.
And have a routine for your child.
Mm.
Have a me time where you can rest, where you can read papers, where you can have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
When it is by 10 o'clock, I've done with my professor. And that's after 10, it's my me time to work on my own organization. And
Yeah.
he knows. He
Mm.
knows when I'm doing my own thing, he's busy scattering the house until he go back to school. He can go to the bedroom, he can go anywhere. You see him by the time I finish, even when I'm on Zoom doing international conferences or having meetings or having workshop or having training. Oh my God, by the time I finish, the house is in a mess. But at the end of the day, he's not actually disturbing me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Professor,
so
well
at
done.
the end of
Well
and
done.
one of the thing is that as your child is getting older, treat them that age.
Yeah.
It's good to
Wow.
treat them that age. It's good for them to know their boundaries in the language they can understand. In
Yeah.
the language, not one cap fits all. How I tell the one look, my son understands it. When I'm angry, he knows, and he knows how to play around me to twist my hands, especially when it comes to food. So at the end of the day, those children are smart.
Yeah.
And
Well,
one of the thing
yeah.
that is key is that when you love them, they strive and flourish.
Wow, thank you. So Tracy, now you just launched a business, a clothing business almost 2 weeks ago, and we celebrated. I applaud you for that. And Ellie also, I know, is a model as well. So tell me about this business and where we can find so that one can support what you're doing.
Well, I wanted to do this several years ago because I, when I left school, I used to work in the fashion business. I used to work in factories, and I worked for great Universal stores as well as a garment technologist. And I've always been
Wow.
interested in fashion and stuff. And Maya, because she's quite, she's a size 22 in clothes, and you can't buy no nice fashionable clothes, from like the everyday shops and stuff. And with the pandemic, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to create this little, little boutique, which is going to, cater for everybody. So from the young kids to the more mature, from very slim to the more voluptuous figure, and that's what I've done. So I've got a few little lines. Well, I started saving. I've, used up every single bit of funds and overdraft and this and that. I've done everything, put it all in, and just hoping, something will come out of it. But it's been going 2 weeks. It's I'm not making any profit yet because I put a lot of investment in it, so I need to pay back all my debts first before I start seeing income. I don't know. I think it might be going up.
It definitely would, because you put that on hold to take care of your daughters.
Yes.
And that passion has still been there. And for you to go back, pick it up and harness it and start, it would definitely. And I know that you're going to come back on the show and we're going to celebrate. We celebrate you every day, not just today, but for the wonderful things you're doing and what you've started now. You will definitely going to flourish. Yes, you might not see the profits now, but hey, you're going to go very far. So where can we find you?
Ellie as well, because she likes to show the clothes and photography. So I'm getting her involved as well, and she's studying business as well, which is really good. So everything go hand in hand. So yeah, I'm hoping,
Definitely. Definitely. Where can we find a link, or where can we find you so that we can?
So it's called Amelia Grace. The little logo. It's Ellie's two middle names, because her name's Ellie Amelia Grace Campbell, and it was actually Henry's other daughter Chloe who suggested the name, and I thought it sounds really nice. Okay. So it's the Amelia Grace Boutique. And the Instagram page is at Amelia Grace, and the Facebook page, if you just type in at Amelia Grace, I've forgotten the thing. Oh, I don't know. If you just type in Amelia Grace, and then you'll find it.
Amelia Grace. Okay, we would
a link
we
on the
would definitely. So please, to
yeah.
all my Facebook family, let's go support Tracie with her new boutique,
Yes,
and
please.
definitely you will find something to wear, and I
Yes,
make sure that I'll get something and wear, and
yeah.
give you a shout out. Well done, well done. And Lady Grace, as we round up, I know you've done fantastically, and you've motivated, and both of you have really inspired us. Where can we find you, and how can we support?
Mm.
Yeah. How can you support me? Okay. You put supporting Star Children Development Initiative in Nigeria. Just as you are supporting Royal Seed Orphanage, I'm going to donate to that anyway, my token to that anyway.
Yes.
So you can put supporting Grace's organization, or you can put supporting Start Children Development, because we need support. Funding is crucial to what I do. Is really, really crucial to what I do. And there's so many families during COVID who has been, oh my God, they've lost their livelihood back home, and some of them have been exposed to a lot of sexual harassment, rape, and I think I did a documentary on those people that have been raped. Those are women living with disability, because lockdown has really heightened the risk to sexual harassment. And there's some people who have lost their livelihood, who are into micro enterprises, and they've lost their livelihood, and a lot. And some children, they've not had money for medication, like they don't have money to buy medication. Some of them are epileptic, and they are going through that. The more they are having it, and they don't have that money, because those drugs are expensive. I mean, the drugs, the day I tried to buy those drugs in Nigeria, one at least cost 8 naira. I don't know, unless I convert that to pounds, but that's a lot for somebody from poor socioeconomic background. So some of the children, they die in the process. So there is a lot going on. So if anybody wants to support us, and if you want to reach out to me, it's called, we have an email called Start Children Initiative at gmail.com. And you can reach me on this number as well, 07459150081. I repeat, 07459150081. Peradventure, you are a mother that is finding it difficult to cope, reach out to me.
Yeah. Or you can even,
there is also talking is therapeutic.
yes.
Talking is therapeutic. Don't hide. Don't be too silent. Don't be isolated. Technology has made things easier, and know that there is light at the
There's
end of the
light.
tunnel. So,
There's light.
and know that you are not alone.
Hmm.
Just reach out to me. We can have a chat, and by the time we finish talking, you will definitely, by His grace, be a different person.
May, thank you so much. And they can also reach you ladies on Facebook,
Exactly.
as Grace Alexandra, and also Tracie Warr, so you can connect with them. It's all about building our network and connecting. And
Yeah.
as Grace has rightly said, if you are a mother out there with a child who has disabilities, and you can't cope, and you need somebody to talk to, I mean, these wonderful ladies are doing brilliantly, and I'm so thankful that the Nana Cheche Show team said, let's talk to these extraordinary women, and we did. And I tell you, you have really, really inspired and motivated us, and I'm thankful that I got to meet you this morning. It was so funny, but
Can we express our thanks to you? Can we express our thanks to you? I
yeah.
mean, you really surprised me when you came early this morning to present me with a wonderful gift. I mean, you actually made my day.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you so much, Nana. You've been an amazing person. And you've been a journalist and interviewer par excellence.
Amen.
You are so wonderful, and it's an opportunity. And thank you for actually dealing with a lot of socioeconomic issues, where people can connect, where people can talk, where people can find a way of releasing their attention or what they're going through, connecting people. That's what life is all about.
Yeah.
We need to know ourselves. We need to reach out to one another, so that we're not bearing the struggle of lives alone. So Nana Chacha's show, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. You've
You're
been a
welcome.
wonderful person.
You're welcome.
You've been wonderful, and God bless you.
You, amen, and thank you. It's we couldn't hug. We were trying to hug, but it's like, oh, but she's had her vaccine, I've had my vaccine, but we still,
I've had my own vaccine with my son.
I have to, and it was so funny. But I thank God that there's a vaccine we can all take. If you're called upon to take, please do. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Social distance. Let's take care of each other. I want to say thank you to the two of you. I celebrate you, not just today, but every day. And to all the wonderful, amazing moms out there, everyone who came contributing and commenting, we say thank you to the mothers. We say happy Mother's Day. And to my wonderful mom in Ghana, who is, taking care of all the orphans at the Royal Seed Orphanage. We want to say thank you. It's not Happy Mother's Day in Ghana, but those babies are my babies too. 250 children. Can you imagine?
Oh.
But we know that throughout the month of March, we're going to do something for them. We're going to raise money and support them. So over this week, you see me posting all sorts about the Royal Seed Orphanage in Ghana. And also, I was gifted with this crown. I want to wear it and give shout out to all the queens around the world. Thank you, Lady Tina Lafati Jones. I want to say thank you so much. And the women ministry at Milton Keynes, they gifted me with this, and I said I'll wear it with pride and tell the world that they gave it to me. So this is to represent all the queens around the world. God bless you. Enjoy your evening, a fruitful week, and always know that there is something great in you that you can bring out to be a blessing to the world. Thank you, Tracie, and thank you, Grace. Have a good night. God bless. So I hope you enjoyed our conversation. And as I'm asking 250 kids. Yes, I have 250 kids. So I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Hopefully you join us next Sunday for another inspiring and motivating interview. Have a wonderful evening again, and God bless. Bye-bye.